Hello and welcome to another Cayman Islands Caribbean tropical weather desk tropical update with your host Adam. And we also have David as well and myself, Lee Barrett. So over to you, Adam.
Right. Yes. Hello. And again, Lee, thanks. And again, welcome to another tropical update from Cayman Hurricane Center. And indeed, I'm your host, Adam McDoom. And I've also joined here with by David and Lee. Thank you guys for being here. So, here we are. We are in August, almost middle of the month, and already the switch has been flipped and we're active and we're going. So we have Tropical Storm Gert, pretty much Hurricane Gert at this point. We're waiting for the new update on that to come in a little less than an hour time. But our main area of focus at the present time is Invest Area 91L, which is the area marked out here in orange. This area of interest here is expected to move off towards the west and expected to develop over time. So just giving the particulars on Invest 91L, the 00Z update, located at 13.2, 37.0 west. Max winds about 30 miles per hour. Minimum central pressure 1,011 millibars, so still relatively weak, but should continue to go upwards as it moves onwards. Here is the present satellite imagery of the area. The Invest area not looking too great at the moment, and I'll explain one of the factors that is impeding on it at the moment. But this is our area here, and it will continue off to the west. It will continue to build with thunderstorms and organization as it continues further to the west. Also, as it moves away from the eastern segment of the system, as this slows down and sort of peters out as the western edge of the system continues on. This is how the area looks on the surface charts. Here we have the Invest area, this broad area of low pressure, also tropical wave here, which is interacting with it. There's also another wave that will be designated on Africa, likely on the next update. That too will be watched for close development, as the National Hurricane Center has already marked out the area here to the east. But for our Invest area, that should continue off towards the west as a high pressure system builds to its north and continues to push it off towards the west. To give you an idea how that looks in terms of the stirring float pattern. Just before I do that, here's the 850 vorticity, basically the X-ray of the system, and you can see our Invest area here. Its secondary partner, or its eastern segment over here, both of them are starting to split away from each other. This is starting to get more organized as it continues off. Here is our tropical storm becoming hurricane out here. Very well tight vorticity, very strong. It's not that tight, it's still weak, but it is starting to get there. Before it was sort of an elongated area of vorticity, but now it's starting to get itself much better organized.
It's hurricane.
Going. Could it rejoin? Probably not, as this is going to be continuing up towards the west, and this is sort of
Adam.
slowing down and continuing off towards sort of the west-northwest.
Sorry to interrupt, Adam. The update has just come out. As now the second hurricane of the season, Gert. 75 mile an hour winds. and 986 millibars are moving north at 8 miles an hour. So Gert has now become the second hurricane of the season. Right, to you, Adam.
Alrighty, and thank you, Lee, for that. So yes, Gert has now officially become the second hurricane of the 2017 Atlantic season. So here we go, continuing on with our Invest Area 91L. We'll get back to that. Okay, here we are. Here is the stirring flow for the system, and as mentioned, the high pressure ridge out to its north is starting to build back on the south side of this hurricane. As this hurricane lifts towards the north and northeast, this should fill back out and should allow 91L to continue off on its westward track towards the Caribbean. Speaking of which, here is the latest recently updated model guidance for Invest 91L. And as you can see, the overall trend on these models has been shifting south and west, and there's definitely a lot more agreement between the models. As you can see here, they're very tightly clustered along here, and they're pretty much agreeing that 91L will be a Caribbean cruiser moving through the Caribbean, eastern Caribbean islands here, northern windwards, southern leewards, and then passing probably likely to the south of Puerto Rico and Hispaniola, continuing on into the central Caribbean and off further. Just to point out, can't really see it so well, but this here is the Hispaniola region, Haiti and Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico located right over here, and Jamaica, which is located right over here to the west, Cuba, Cayman Islands over here. And so this system should be making its way through the eastern Caribbean, south of the central, northern, greater Antilles, and continuing on towards areas such as Jamaica and the Cayman Islands and off towards the Yucatan. Some possibilities there also for Haiti and Cuba to be impacted. Also, Gulf of Mexico probably later down the line. But anyway, too early to really speculate on exactly where this far out. But either way, the models have become better aligned with each other and has been shifting more and more towards showing this as a Caribbean cruiser. So going on from that, we have want to bring up this, and this here is the European and its ensemble members forecast Genesis track, and so the European model is more or less the top performing models. When you list all the models, the Euro tends to be the better performing model than, say, the GFS, the Canadian, or any of the others. But you could definitely see where it takes our Invest 91L. Generally, again, very similar to what the general consensus track for the rest of the models are. Pretty much the same sort of deal. Also showing up that second area behind 91L, still coming off the coast of Africa. That will probably head on a more west-northwest track. So one of the reasons that I am concerned about this is that, again, with the models throwing this thing into the Caribbean, it does have itself very good up-level winds on it presently and going into the Caribbean. The other thing is the very warm sea surface temperatures and the very high ocean heat content. As you can see here, here's the Caribbean area with the ocean heat content. And again, very high ocean heat content, high enough to definitely support a decent system here in the Eastern Caribbean. Strengthening as we go further towards Northwest Caribbean is definitely in it with that ocean heat content. And again, with the system expected to track on that sort of west to west northwesterly track through that area, it's quite concerning, especially seeing that there. The other thing, too, I don't really like to talk too much about this because, again, intensity guidance, they're still not really up there yet with that in terms of accuracy of intensity guidance. But just to give you an idea of what the models in general are saying in terms of intensity, here's the intensity guidance provided by Levi Cowan over there at Tropical Timmins. And seems to be general consensus on system coming a tropical storm anywhere from 24 to say 48, 72 hours out, and then making its way into possibly hurricane status. I do know that there's been a bit of consensus with a fairly decent hurricane that the HWRF or HWFI kind of gone a little bit nuts here. Cat 5 basically in terms of its track that goes with that basically puts a Cat 5 in the Central Caribbean just south of Hispaniola, heading off towards the west-northwest, taking it towards Jamaica, Cuba region. But I'm gonna currently say that this is the outlier. Most of them sort of within the upper end Cat 1, lower end Cat 3 range, and the general track for these here, again, Central Caribbean. And so it'd be something that we will need to be watching very, very closely. The Eastern Caribbean islands obviously will need to be getting their guards up, as this thing will be heading towards the Eastern Caribbean, say, end of this week. And as such, you guys need to prep yourselves. Could be looking at a tropical storm on your doorstep as it moves off towards the west. So that is pretty much this particular update. This update's mainly for Invest 91L. I'll be doing a couple of more updates rather through the evening, and update you on other areas of interest out there in the Atlantic. But again, the Eastern Caribbean, you better keep a very close eye on this system, as this is expected to head towards you. Gert, not too much of an issue. Not expected to make any landfalls, but is expected to produce large swells off the east coast of the United States and on the west coast of Bermuda, and also parts of Atlantic Canada. These large swells could potentially provide some dangerous rip currents. So if you are heading out to the beach sometime during the next couple of days, probably staying off the water would be your best bet. So other than that, the other system off Africa, days away before that makes any impact. So again, main area of interest, 91L. Anyway, that is it from me for Cayman Hurricane Center. I'm Adam McDoom. Also here with me in the studio, David and Lee. Thanks very much for joining us. We'll see you soon.